keep it real with ya.
I saw their comment. They replied to my comment. But yeah, they're like, I have more evidence that I'm not showing y'all. And I just think it's funny how y'all all trying to judge me and say that I don't have a case when you haven't seen all the evidence. And it's like, so then present all the evidence. I won't lie. I've posted online before anonymously about certain situations that are sensitive, that are more like confidential. And I didn't want to give all the evidence of what was going on. Sometimes I would just make up a scenario that kind of seems like my situation so that it's not like super obvious, like who I am or what I'm going through. And people be like, oh, you ain't give enough evidence for me to make a judgment call on it, blah, blah, blah. And if you don't show the evidence, people are going to think that you don't have evidence. But the fact of the matter is, you made this post asking for advice. You provided your evidence of maybe even what you think is your strongest evidence, and then you ask people to judge whether or not you could sue the company for money. So everybody who's trying to argue you down is the people who are saying based on the evidence you presented. And everybody's saying that based on what you presented, I don't feel like you have a case. If you have something that you feel is a stronger indicator of what's going on, then you might want to post that, or you might want to post something similar to that to kind of give people an idea of what it is that you are dealing with. If at some point, someone made a comment of like, don't you people always eat chicken, or you people love chicken, don't you? Or like, oh, y'all love y'all chicken, you know that is something where I would feel like that's more of a, who is you people, you know what I mean, who is y'all, um and stuff like that. Like, that's something that I feel like would be more evidence than someone making a comment about the fact they saw you eating chicken before. Now they see you eating fish. No, thought you usually eat chicken. That's not really a strong argument when it comes to things about race. You either got to be very blatant, like very overt, like, you black people blah 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 blah, or black people are like this, or you can be like, it can be implied, but it has to be implied consistently, you know what I mean? Like, they don't make comments on anyone's hair but your hair. And it's always a comment on your hair. Other people change their hairstyles all the time. There's never a comment on anyone's hair but yours. Stuff like that, that's like pervasive. So if you have something like that, post that. And so I said that. I was like, if you don't want to share the evidence, the other evidence that you have, I do recommend compiling it. Speaking to a lawyer. Warning, speaking to a lawyer is very expensive. Consultations can run you $300 an hour, easy. Easy. Some lawyers will even charge you for emails, per email that they send. Hey, Sadie. Um, and so I was like, okay, if that's what you want to do. And then they were also like, man, I'm just trolling these white people by calling them white. Like, this isn't a court of law, Minu. Like, this is just like, these people aren't lawyers, so they can be biased. And that's why I'm like trolling them and like calling them white and dismissing them and all that stuff. And I was like, the court of law can be hella biased. Like, racism is built into our legal system. It's not that these people aren't lawyers, so they're biased. Like, lawyers can be biased too. Juries are biased. Judges are biased. It's not just because I'm talking to you, Redditors, you're biased. And then also, I was like, what was your point of posting this? Like, why did you post this asking for advice on whether or not you could sue your company for money, if you was just going to troll every single white person who responded with no? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your end goal here? Like, was this a shit post? Like, was this, you just decided to, mess with some people? Because people do that. They'll like post something that they know will get a lot of clicks, a lot of looks, a lot of views, and, mess with people in the comments. And if that's what you're doing, you're really hurting the cause here. You're not helping anybody, man. And like, how many, like, I be on Reddit, and what people love to do on Reddit, they love to go through your post history. I regularly delete shit because I have an anonymous account, and I'm just like, that's good. That don't need to be here any longer than a couple days. Um, but they love to look through your post history, and I've seen so many situations on Reddit where somebody will post something and they'll be like, "I'm being mistreated unfairly," and then people be like, looking through your post and comment history, you seem to be the one with the problem, Cause you be saying some wild shit, and you've been posting about the wild shit that you be doing. So for you to all of a sudden now to be like, "Oh, I'm being treated unfairly," I don't believe you. Cause the other post you posted was about how was mistreating your grandma, or something crazy like that. I don't have any specific examples, but I've seen this happen over and over again. Or I'll say something and I don't want to give a lot of detail, but somebody be like, "Well, I saw your last post and you said blah 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 blah." So yeah, so it's just like being like this, nobody's gonna take anything you post seriously after this because people are gonna go back and they're gonna see, you know, how you acted. Even if you delete your post, I think your comments are still there. So then people will be like, "Oh yeah, this was the person who did XYZ before. Don't listen to anything they have to say." Like you're just really just making yourself look bad. You might as well delete your account, start over, and try to be a better person next time. I can't fucking stand trolls. I can't. There's no point in trolling people. You spend all your time commenting on stuff and replying to comments, just wasting your time to just be rude. Like delete your post and go back on with your life. Don't, like either you feel like you have a legitimate issue or you don't, and that's what needs to be addressed. And she replied to say that she's trolling people because they don't believe her and they don't want to see it from her perspective. How would you feel if someone used a stereotype against you? Um, it just seemed unrealistic on this post. So yeah, I'm making them mad as well. I want legal advice, but you're right. I'm gonna have to go to an attorney. I originally posted this on anti-work, of course. Should have edited it to explain things better, but I didn't think I needed to. And then being like, yeah, my attorney will ask me these things and want the details. So thank you for your opinion, so I can prepare for how sick people think. There were a couple comments calling her delusional, and while I hate to call a black woman who is claiming racial discrimination delusional, this person seems to be very, very ramped up or amped up in the sense that they just like no one was attacking them until they attacked everybody else. And it hurts the cause of other black people who are actually suffering from these issues and going through these issues for people to pull out the race card when it's not necessary to pull out the race card. And I hate to say that because I do know that racism is pervasive. I do know that there are stereotypes. I do know that there's ignorance, but that doesn't mean that you can do it this way. I would say from an HR perspective, as somebody who works in HR, as somebody who values mental health, I would want this person to see a therapist, and I would want them to I would be interested to see if they suffer from some type of paranoia psychosis. I know it sounds crazy because I hate to bring it up because I know people often interpret me telling them to get therapy as me saying you're crazy and I'm dismissing everything that you say. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I do. That's not how I operate. Y'all know I love therapy for everyone. But that's what I would look into because if you have some type of mental illness where you are often paranoid and you have that documented as an HR professional, a good HR professional, mind you, not one of these randos that just do whatever, I could find a way to help you and accommodate you as you get the help you need. Because I've seen situations where people will say people will have some kind of paranoid delusion at work, and there are certain accommodations you can make to help them. So let's say, for example, someone says like, "I believe that people are stealing from my desk. They keep stealing from my desk. I don't know who it is. I can't catch them, but they're stealing from my desk. They're stealing stuff. Okay, what are they stealing? I don't know. Just things are going missing. Okay, well, let's check the cameras to see who might have stole from your desk. And if you go through the cameras and all day long in the time frames that they say that somebody stole from their desk, no one even walks past their desk, then you're like, okay, here's the evidence. It doesn't seem like anyone's stealing anything from you. If you feel like something's being stolen, maybe you can make a note of it and say, hey, my pencil holder is stolen, let's look at the cameras to see who stole it. Okay, we don't see anybody stealing it. It looks like you just put it in your drawer. Okay, let's go to the drawer. It's in the drawer. Um, like you can from HR, there's accommodations you can make for people who have like paranoid delusions. Um, but I think that from my perspective with this person is definitely a huge sign of emotional immaturity. And it's not just because they're young, because you can be old and be emotionally immature. But right now, I think it's a sign of emotional immaturity to say that you presented this evidence, people did not agree with you, and that means that they are sick. And that's not okay. It's not okay to have that type of mindset. It's not okay to have the mindset of if you don't agree with me, I'm gonna troll you and make you mad and insult you and fight with you on the internet. I hate I'm gonna fight with you on the internet type person. Um, to say you post about something that you believe is legally racial discrimination and people say legally it's not, and then you say, look how sick you people are. You guys are sick. I have to be prepared for how sick people are. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, you definitely have an issue. Um, like it's just, ugh.